lot of experimenting that I do when I'm improvising. A lot of it's, how I feel at the given moment. So sometimes I don't know exactly where I'm going, but that's where hopefully magic will happen in your improvised solo. It's how you weave back into a logical pattern that relates to the intervals in the chord, the key intervals being your third and your seventh primarily, sometimes your fifth. But a lot of it's your ear and how you feel. But I do like to experiment a lot. I don't like to play the same exact patterns. Playing chromatic notes outside of the chord, sometimes playing a different scale altogether, and then weaving right back into the harmony again is interesting. I never know what's going to happen when I'm soloing exactly, because it never comes out twice the same. So for now, why don't we just hear what a G7 chord is, and I would recommend that either a sharp 5 or a flat 9 be played so that it'll make more sense when you hear what I'm playing. Okay? So that's a little bit on the G7. And depending on the rhythmic variation that's happening with your rhythm section, whatever they're providing, that's going to determine where you're going to go. And of course, more chords will be will also inspire a different direction. But I think when you're vamping on one chord, which is the case in a lot of forms of music, you have a long series of bars where you have to try to do something interesting. I think that rhythmic variation plays a real big part, and we'll be getting into that pretty soon too. Here's a little vamp now that comprises starting with a minor chord, going to a diminished chord. Third chord would be like a major 7, and then to a dominant 7, sharp 9. So it goes through different types of scales, and I'll show what I play over this sequence. 2, 3.
Meola's total command of the instrument is demonstrated by his ability to play both in vertical and horizontal positions on the fingerboard, sometimes even playing complete passages on only one string.
This is an example of how I would try to break the habit of playing in positions. And this is just an exercise of playing on one string at a time. So if I were to pick, say, like a G minor chord right now, I would play on the E string as melodically as I could in a G minor scale to learn the whole neck. Get used to playing the whole neck. It sort of gets you out of the habit of playing in positions. So let's try a little bit like that. Now, going to the second string, let's try the same thing just for a brief moment so we can get used to doing that kind of thing. Go ahead. Anyway, there's a lot that you can do even on one string, and hopefully when you practice something like that, it'll get you out of the habit of playing in positions. It's really a good idea to learn scale intervals in relation to chords so that when you're soloing, you can target certain key points like a third or a seventh primarily, and not just guess where you're going. So when I'm thinking of, say, the G minor chord, for instance, I actually look at the fretboard, and I pretty much know where all of my Fs are and where all my B flats are. So I'm targeting them at some times within the solo. So I think that's a real important thing.